Hello and welcome to Arsenal Domination, where Arsenal will enter a fairly crucial period of the season. They have an opportunity to sort of build on the Champions League success. Will face Brighton in the EFL Cup with hopes of progressing in that competition, and they'll be hoping with a relatively easy, and I say relatively because there are no massively easy games in the Premier League, or very few, I should say. Um, they have a chance to build on the lead that they took into the October international break. But it will require some element of rotation for Arsenal. They will play every 3 days in all of those competitions across October and November. And that means that Victor Gyokeres will presumably need a break. Now, a lot of people will be criticising and saying he hasn't scored in 10 games, he's no good, etc., etc. I'm not saying that Arsenal should be dropping Victor Gyokeres at this stage. I think he's played well. I think the goals will come. And I think, elements of his game surpass what I thought they would be at this stage, mainly his sort of build-up play. And I'm confident that he will score. But he can't play 90 minutes in all of those games without suffering from some burnout and risking injury, as we saw last year with Kai Havertz. So Arsenal will be needing, I think, in games to either substitute him early or need to rest him entirely. But who should that be? And I think the two real choices here, in the absence of Kai Havertz and Gabriel Jesus, who are both injured, are Gabriel Martinelli and Mikel Merino. Now, both are on good form, particularly for their countries, both scoring in the week. But both play in very, very different ways. And I think the answer could well lie in the fact that, depending on the opposition, will depend on what happens. But while Gabriel Martinelli, I think, is probably in many ways the sort of more natural fit, I think a lot of people would like to see him play through the middle more often. I think with Eza coming in probably to get most of the start centrally, as I discussed earlier in the week, I think Martinelli will be playing predominantly on the left, and I like him playing with Victor Gyokeres because I think the two can interchange quite nicely in game, as we saw Brazil do in the week. Mikel Merino, however, I don't want him in the 10, and I don't think Arsenal will play him in that 10 role unless they are looking to sort of shut up the game and sort of see a game out, or they have a real tough away trip. But he has 16 calendar goals this year. He plays in a very similar style to the way Mikel Arteta likes players to play, and is on good goal scoring form. I think Mikel Merino will be the man that will come in when Gyokeres needs a rest up front. And I think that's the way Arsenal will look to go. He's not the most dynamic, but he certainly scores goals. And I think it keeps Martinelli on that left side where he's been doing really well for Arsenal and crucially gives him minutes. Mikel Merino, for me, will be the backup temporarily for Victor Gyokeres. But let me know your thoughts in the comments.